Hello and welcome. Let's talk about Egwene Alvear from The Eye of the World, which means spoilers for book 1 of The Wheel of Time. I'm not trying to blind you, I promise. This is just the super shiny 30th anniversary edition of The Eye of the World. It's pretty, but it doesn't match the rest of the dust jackets on my shelf. Egwene is different from the rest of the party who eventually leaves Emond's Field in that she is the only one who left for adventure, to see the world for the fun of it. She kind of reminds me of Belle from Beauty and the Beast. She wants more than this provincial life. She wants more than what the women of Emond's Field normally get to have for their future. Most women grow up, get married, have babies, take care of their home, and that is what they have to look forward to. Not a bad life. I'm married and I have children and I take care of my home. But she sees the older women in her village. She knows that when she grows up and gets married, it's not get married happily ever after, the end. You get married and life often gets harder. The women stay home. They don't get to travel. They don't get to go on adventures. And while she would probably have settled for Rand if he showed a little gumption in pursuing her, she takes matters into her own hands and she starts to follow around Nynaeve, who tells her, "You could be a wisdom." When she tells Rand about this, he objects, saying, "We already have a wisdom." Yeah, so other villages need a wisdom. You want to leave? Yes, Egwene would like to leave. She would like to see other places. She has an adventurous spirit. His reaction makes her angry, and I can understand that. It can already be hard to open up about what you really want to someone. And when their reaction is, "Why would you want to do that?" Or "Have you considered all the things that might make that hard?" It can be really deflating, and it can be easy to feel stupid for having wanted it. And having Rand say, "People never leave," probably kind of feels to her like he's saying, "What makes you special?" Luckily, he's not in charge of her. And when she sees a chance to leave, she takes it. When she sees that Mat and Perrin seem to be getting ready to leave, she assumes that they are doing what she is doing, which is getting out of this place to go off and see things and have fun and adventures. She's not at all surprised to see Rand is there too, but she doesn't quite believe him that they are running away from Trollocs. She thinks that Rand is just trying to scare her away, which she doesn't want to be scared away, and she doesn't want to feel like he's trying to tell her what to do because he's not in charge of her. They all kind of expect Moraine to tell Egwene, "No, you can't come." So they're kind of surprised when she says yes. But what we find out later is that Moraine can see the potential, the latent abilities in Egwene. The same thing that Nynaeve could see, but Moraine knows what it is. And the White Tower will take any girl that they can get. So she leaves home, the one place she's always known, off to find freedom and adventure. And the only one, so far, who's off for the adventure until they meet Loyal. So one of the things that I appreciate about The Eye of the World is that as they're all on this long physical journey, each one of them also goes on a personal journey. And hers is different from everyone else. Unlike Rand, she gets special training. She has Moraine to be a mentor to her and teach her. So while she was back in Emond's Field and maybe being made to feel like, "What makes you special?" Here she is with Moraine, kind of the student mentor wise wizard trope that I like. Moraine is telling her, "You are special. You have a power that few other people possess, and I can teach you how to use it." And she gets the promise of going to the White Tower, which Rand could also go to the White Tower, but it would end very differently if he did. And when she and Perrin get split off from the rest of the group, she and Perrin are also kind of on like opposite personal journeys because they're both discovering something in themselves that they didn't know about, but Egwene gets to feel like she's discovering something wonderful and powerful and Perrin feels like he's discovering something about himself that's terrible. And then we could compare her journey to Nynaeve. Both of these young women from the same place, both who have their power discovered by Moraine, who wants to take them both to get trained at the tower. But Nynaeve is super reluctant. I have a whole video about Nynaeve, so I won't go into her here. But Egwene is not reluctant. She is eager. She embraces the idea of a future becoming Aes Sedai. Now, when Nynaeve finds them, catching up to them, Egwene is not actually super happy to see her, because Nynaeve represents something different to her now than she did at the beginning. Back home in Emond's Field, Nynaeve represented a different option. Instead of the whole marriage and children future, Egwene could follow Nynaeve to a different future. Nynaeve kind of represented, in some ways, freedom. But now, Egwene got some of that freedom herself. She didn't need Nynaeve. She took her future into her own hands and probably feels really empowered. But then Nynaeve comes for her and for the boys. But what is the life that Nynaeve can offer her compared to what Moraine can offer her? The boys won't go back. They left to keep the village safe. Egwene could go back. She has the freedom to go back, but she doesn't want to, because going back home now means taking a step backward in life and being back under Nynaeve's authority, which she's kind of gotten used to being without. And she is not quite sure she's ready to have Nynaeve see her with her hair all down and unbraided because of what that represents. A little bit of rebellion there. Egwene definitely doesn't like being told what to do. Speaking of which, when she and Perrin do get separated and she looks to Perrin for leadership, Perrin is very surprised, because normally Egwene doesn't want to be bossed or told what to do. She's more than happy to do the bossing. But there's a big difference between someone you trust, trying to keep you alive, and someone who thinks they knows what is best for you, just telling you what to do. Egwene recognizes that. She respects Perrin, but she is very firm about equality on the journey. Perrin will take turns riding the horse just as much as her. Not the horse, Bella. Bella's a character. She has been so strong to this point. She chose to go on this adventure, but when they finally meet up with the traveling people and she's allowed to rest and feel safe for a short time, she does weep for her friends. She surprises Perrin a little. Perrin just doesn't understand girls as well as Rand and Matt. But she's worried about them. Who knows what's happened? They are on her mind. She cares about them. And she lets herself be a little flattered by Aram, however you say that one, the traveling person guy. This is kind of her first experience with a boy away from home. She's grown up her whole life knowing which boys were available to her. Now this is a new boy far from home who makes her feel pretty and special, and she is still a teenage girl. So I do not blame her for letting herself feel flattered by him. Speaking of still being a teenage girl, they do eventually meet up with their friends again, and one of the first things that she says to Rand, who's Elyane? She does not believe Rand met a real princess. So at this point, after all she's been through, there comes a decision to be made. She can go with Moraine or not. Probably go on to the White Tower would be the other option. Will she follow Moraine and Rand to the eye of the world? And she is still eager to go. She does not want to be left behind, except now, towards the end of the book, she is well aware of what some of the dangers could be. She has been chased by Trollocs. She has been captured by White Cloaks. She has been through enough that no one would blame her for saying, you know what, I'm gonna skip this one. But she doesn't skip it. She goes. All of the Emond's Fielders, once they get up to the eye of the world, really show their courage. None of them run. They all try to protect and defend each other. She is so afraid, but that doesn't stop her from trying to fight a Forsaken. And she finds out what Rand is. This boy she has grown up with, he can channel. There is the possibility that as a man who can channel, he could be the dragon reborn. Moraine thinks it's a possibility. Wow, this has to be a little bit mind-blowing, but the two rivers bond is strong. She does not stop caring for him. And at the end of the book, she is sad to say goodbye to him. All her life, she's had these feelings of this will be the guy I marry someday. Yes, she was trying to be a wisdom, and wisdoms don't usually marry, but Rand was still gonna be there. He was still a possibility for the future, and now that possibility is almost gone when they go separate ways, and she heads to the White Tower. So she says goodbye to Rand and is looking forward to getting to Tar Valon and looking forward to that future that she left home, not even knowing what she was going towards. So now I get to say, what did I miss? What else did you really like or dislike about Egwene? And please, no spoilers in the comments for future books. This is only The Eye of the World. You can follow me on my Instagram, which there is a link for in the description, and I will see you next time. Bye.